I'm going to share with you my top 3 go-to stretches for when I have tight anterior hips. Okay, and I'm going to share with you some small tweaks to get a better stretch while doing these. So the first one is going to be a kneeling hip flexor stretch. It's pretty common, right? So one small tweak that I have to start off with this, instead of leaning forward with our back hyperextended like this, what we're going to do is actively tuck our hips under, engage our core, and lean forward in a controlled manner, and I'm going to get more of an isolated hip flexor stretch, and it's going to feel real nice. Okay, so tip number 1, tuck those hips under and lean forward, keeping those hips tucked. Number 2 tweak to this stretch, or a little tip that I like to do, is I'm going to tuck my hips under, I'm going to lean forward first, and then what I'm going to do is play with the angle. So I'm going to go out a little bit, and it's going to hit different angles of those hip flexors in through there, and you can really see where you're tight at and just wiggle around in there, keeping that core engaged. All right, a nice flow that I like to do in this kneeling hip flexor stretch is I like to keep my hips tucked under. I'm going to then reach straight up and lean to the side, hold it there, and then lean slightly backwards. And what this is going to do is get that anterior oblique sling here. It's going to stretch out the anterior hips and then into that abdominal area, and it feels so good. So that's a nice flow that I like to do from that kneeling hip flexor stretch. Okay, and number 3, the last one I like to do is I use a bench or a band to do a little bit of a deeper hip flexor stretch. Now a tip here is the further away you are from the bench, the less invasive the stretch is going to be. So I'm a little bit further away from the bench, I can lean backwards towards the bench, and I can also lean forward while keeping the hips tucked again, okay, and getting a deeper stretch. Now, if I move closer to the bench, this is obviously going to stretch out more of that anterior quad and hip flexor, to where I can lean forward again, and also I can lean backwards into this. Okay, so that's going to be number 3. All 3 of those, we're going to keep our hips tucked. We're going to really focus on this anterior hip and through here, and it's even going to go into the quadriceps in that last stretch. If you guys found this beneficial and you need some good programming, you can head over to the Daily Feel Good on drlindsayschmidt.com. I'd be happy to get you going.